Well, let's hope that you won't mind if we wax clinical just for a few moments. Because you've probably noticed that over these few months, in the forming of the last link in our metaphorical chain of stories, that there's been quite a number of Sufi stories told. Because it's been found that the Sufi stories contain within them most clearly the 4 levels of stories that have been spoken of. That level where the moral or the teaching or the lesson is clear, where the archetypes and the sacred symbols are obvious, and where the unifying factor or element or thread is also very evident to us, along with the secret that's contained in every story. But besides that, their alchemy brings the possibility, and obviously has been most effective, in allowing us to come to realize that these levels within ourselves, which are the levels of existence, are now so melded in us that they cannot be separated. But now, in the forging of this new link, as the last couple of stories have been told, have come from what is called the Siddha stories. Now, the Siddha stories are the stories of the great souls who were present in existence at a time when Buddhism had been birthed out of Hinduism, and these great souls combined within them the essence of the past, the old, the essence of the past, the essence of Hinduism, and also bringing the elements of the new into life. And because we ourselves are in this time of great change and have a role to play in this, they're also very timely. But it will be for you to experience what their alchemy is and what it is they bring for us in terms of awareness and understanding. So this story is a story of a very, very poor seller of incense. He was so poor that he had to indenture his only son, very young son, to become a cowherd. Now, the son's name was Goraksha, and Goraksha didn't mind being a cowherd. He loved being out in the fields, in the midst of nature, with its sounds, its sights, its smells. But one day, when he was resting under a tree with a group of other cowherds, there appeared before them the great Mahasiddha Minarpa. And Minarpa pointed to the forest in the distance, and he said, "You see that group of vultures flying over there? They are awaiting the death of a prince whose arms and legs have been cruelly severed and whose blood is now seeping into the earth. Who will save him?" Goraksha, without a moment's hesitation, jumped up and said, "I will do it." But then Goraksha said, "If I undertake this for you, you have to do my work." So it was agreed. The great Mahasiddha Minarpa was left to take care of the cows while Goraksha went off into the forest. And there, under the tree, he saw the young prince, his blood draining from him. And he quickly rent his own clothes and bound up the terrible, terrible wounds, made the prince comfortable as he could. And then he returned to the field where Minarpa was taking care of his herd. He told Minarpa that he had fulfilled his task. And Minarpa said, "Will you take care of him? Will you feed him?" And Goraksha said, "Yes. My employer gives me food every day. I will share half with the prince." And Minarpa said, "In taking care of him, you must see that the 4 necessities of life are fulfilled. He must drink, eat, sleep, and defecate." Every day thereafter, Goraksha went to the forest and tended the prince. He cleaned up the excrement. He bathed, fed, and gave him fluids. And the years passed, and both of them grew to manhood. In fact, it was 12 years. One day, Goraksha went to fulfill his daily tasks, but when he arrived in the place and the tree under which the prince had laid, Goraksha's mouth dropped open with surprise, because in front of his eyes, the Prince Gauranga rose up on 2 steady legs with 2 muscular arms. Gauranga, the prince, said, "Close your mouth, Goraksha. Flies might fly in." And he said, "Minarpa had given me a meditation practice which allowed my limbs to regenerate. But because of the great service you have given to me over these years, I am willing to teach you meditation." Goraksha said, "Thank you, but no thank you. I have been following the orders of my Guru Minarpa all of these years, fulfilling the task he gave to me. I follow his directions." With that, the Prince Gauranga went on his way. But Minarpa appeared to Goraksha and inquired of him how was his protege. And Goraksha told him what had happened. Of course, he knew already. But Minarpa congratulated him on his diligence and the fulfillment of the task that had been given to him. And with that, he gave Goraksha empowerment and initiation and instruction into the ways of his mandate. After this, Goraksha went off into a place where he could practice the precepts that had been given to him by his master Minarpa. And after many years, 12 years to be exact, when he had reached the mundane level of attainment, Minarpa appeared to him again and said, "The only way you can now progress on your path is to begin the initiation of a great number of souls." And so Goraksha immediately went out into the world and began to initiate everyone, all and sundry. And this came to the notice of one of the great gods, Brahma, who was greatly displeased and came to Goraksha and chided him, scolded him. "How can you initiate these souls who have not burned their karma and have not risen to the state of understanding? This must cease. You must only initiate those who come to you and have burned their karma to the degree that they are ready for understanding and awareness." After this time, Goraksha went out into the world once again, but now armed with great discrimination. He only initiated and gave empowerment to those souls who sought him out, who had burned their karma to a state of some purification and were ready to begin understanding and awareness. Goraksha served in this way for a countless number of years before ascending into those realms that are the realms of those gods. First, to bring it down to a level of mind, we can ask the question now of you: what for you is empowerment and initiation? The chemistry of these stories is left to do their own work in their own way in us. But this question needs to be answered by us. What is this initiation and empowerment for us? Without recognizing it, we ourselves do not have the wherewithal to be able to undertake this task. Initiation and empowerment. What do they mean? How have you been initiated? What is the empowerment that has occurred for you?